Are you ever curious why, as a CEO, owner, and leader, you yell at your employee and you're not sure why or where that came from? Or as a parent, you get home from having a really long day and your child says something and you just go off on them. Or why you and your partner have these arguments consistently, pointing the finger of you did this, you do that, and then coming to a point of realizing and apologizing after, and then getting in this cycle of making up, whichever way that you all do, and the cycle continues. Today, we are going to talk about why these things happen and how you can start to experience more ease and clarity before having these conversations. Because the overall message in how you feel regarding these different things in your life is just confused on why it even happens in the first place, or coming from a place of regretting what you said. So let's help eliminate that and start to experience more ease and more clarity before we have the conversation with these different individuals in our life. Also, my nails are not completely done, and that is going to be okay for the conversation in general. So as a certified professional coach, as a certified human design reader, as a certified energy leadership index master practitioner, and as an individual who has invested a good amount of money into mentors and coaches and lived my own experiences in what we're talking about, I feel that God has presented me with a solution for what we're talking about today. So how to have more ease and more clarity before you blow up on your coworker, before you blow up on your employee, before you yell at your child, before you go in this roundabout circle with your partner that feels like it's never ending for the past 6 months. So what is important to do throughout this and why? Well, let's talk about why it's even happening in the first place, because how many of you, if you're watching the replay, you can go ahead and pop it in the chat. How many of you feel like, I don't understand, like after the argument happens or after you say the thing, you just feel like, why did that even happen in the first place? And you kind of just feel confused in regards to what you said, or maybe you don't even remember what you said because it was just so heated in the moment, right? It's like, how many of us can experience that? So we experience this and we have this, I don't know why I said this, and I just feel regret in regards to this because we're not coming from a place of being grounded. Now, what does that mean? Coming from a place of being grounded means that you feel calm for the most part in your body. You feel more calm compared to how you felt in that moment when saying that thing. So let's say, for example, there is a coworker and they say something and it just ticks you off and you end up saying something back to them. And then after you think about it and it's like, maybe I could have been a little bit nicer, or maybe I didn't even have to respond. Maybe my own energy of not being involved with the thing was actually the response there. So when we are triggered, which means that we can feel really anxious, or we feel really amped up, or we feel like we want to just like vomit onto someone, we feel like we want to strangle them in ways, that is when we are not grounded. So we feel really nervous, we feel really jittery, we don't feel how we typically can feel in our lives. So when we're in this state, it's not the best to have a conversation. Why? Because you're not thinking the most clearly and you're not thinking the most grounded, meaning considering that other person's point of view, considering who you want to be, considering how you want to show up, considering how that's going to affect that other person and also yourself in regards to your morals and values. So if you really respect, like if respect is one for you, and if you anchor into disrespecting someone because someone has said something to you and it just, annoys you, and then you say something back immediately in response to that, then versus digesting and sitting with it a little bit, depending on where you are in your life and in your journey and what's your natural response to something, then it's not going to feel the greatest. So what are ways that we can just go ahead and anchor into more peace, anchor into more clarity before having the conversation, so that way we can experience more ease? I'm going to present you with 3 tools so that way you can utilize these in your life to experience more ease, to experience more clarity when it comes to this as well. So one of the first things that you can do is to breathe. Most people actually are not breathing throughout the day. When something bad happens, for example, it's, and we almost hold our breath, right? And then it's like, well, Mallory, I'm, they have all these things going on and I haven't cried, or I haven't done anything to, I just keep going. I just keep pushing it down and down, so that way it's not an issue and it's not a problem. Well, that's how it becomes a problem, because we keep pushing it down to eventually where it volcanically erupts onto other people, and then we have the thing of, well, I don't even know why I said that, right? So an important thing to do before having a conversation with someone is to breathe. Breathing helps regulate your nervous system and activates your parasympathetic nervous system. What does that mean? Your parasympathetic nervous system is in regards to calm, rest, and digest. So before you have the conversation with the coworker, before you have the conversation with the employee, before you have the conversation with your partner, you're more calm. You're not as activated, feeling like I need to do this, I need like all of this jitteriness, okay? Or feeling like you want to fight them, or you want to leave, or you want to like physically leave the conversation, leave the relationship, whatever your pattern is there. So breathing is really important because it activates our parasympathetic nervous system, so to experience more calmness and more ease before you have the conversation. So that's number 1. Another one that's very helpful is to go buy a fan. Not actually go out and buy a fan, but be near a fan. Either you can sit in your office and you can have the fan blowing from above. You can put your face towards the fan if you have like a small fan that can blow air, and that can actually activate your parasympathetic nervous system for you to experience more calmness, more ease while you are breathing as well. So that's another one. So that can help you regulate your body. Another one that can also be important for those of you that have office spaces and the privacy of your own space is to shake your body. So physically shake your body and picture the negativity, picture the thing that person said, just leaving your body, leaving your vessel, clearing all of it out, so that way you can experience more groundedness, just releasing. Imagine it's just releasing from your body. I also like to talk to God in this standpoint and put my hand to my head and say, God, please help me have the mindset you want me to have and have the heart space that you want me to have, okay? So to also be curious in regards to, we'll get to that part as well. So those are 3 things that you can do that I recommend doing before having the conversation with that person, before reacting to what happened. So that way you can come from a space of more responding as an adult to how you want to show up in that conversation. So what does that mean? Responding meaning that you have more intentionality, you have more control versus feeling out of control based on what you want to say. So, for example, by practicing breathing in through the nose or in through the mouth sometimes, if it feels hard to breathe in through your nose at that moment, out through the mouth, being by a fan and breathing either above your head or blowing on your face. But specifically blowing on your face is really helpful. and then shaking. So it's hard to do this or it might not feel the most comfortable to do this in public, to just randomly shake. So being in the privacy of your own office, going to the bathroom, going in a closet, and being able to do that from that space there. This all, again, activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which helps you to relax. It helps you to feel more calm, so that way you have more intentionality to have the conversation with your coworker, to have the conversation with your employee, to have the conversation with your partner, individuals that you want to care for, want to respect, for example, or love. It comes from more of a place of love in regards to what you then say. So these are all 3 things that you can do to start experiencing more ease, to start experiencing more peace, to start experiencing more calmness in your life, in your body, before you have the conversation with that individual. And when it comes time to have the conversation with that individual, think about what's the most effective thing that I can do and say when using I statements. So for example, sharing, I feel XYZ when this happens, or I would love if you can, wait for me to XYZ before, how do I want to say that? Before we move on to the next thing, whatever it is. So by doing this, by sharing I statements, or by being direct, for example, so getting directly to the point, it can help with having more effective conversations. So that way you're anchoring into more ease, you're anchoring into more confidence, and you're anchoring into more calmness as you have these conversations as well too. Hello, Anna. So these are all helpful tips for you to be able to utilize to experience more ease, to experience more calmness, to experience more peace before you blow up on your partner, before you go off on your coworker, on your employee, before you go off on your child, whichever the case may be. And these are helpful things that you can do, so that way you can have an effective conversation. And what that means to have an effective conversation is thinking about what's one of the most beneficial and helpful things that I can share in this moment, so that way this relationship can thrive even more. And if you would like guidance on emotional regulation tools, which is what we went over today, this is something that we dive deeper into in the Maison. So to join the Maison, you can comment Maison. It's a year-long program, and we explore practical day-to-day tools for you to start experiencing more ease, confidence, and calmness in your life. So I hope that you all have a beautiful day, a fantastic day. Again, these 3 tips that we went over, anyone can experience this, anyone can utilize this. Go ahead and share a message with me after on which one you used, which one you liked. If you used all 3 of them, awesome. And I would love to see how this works for you, so that way you can just start experiencing more ease in your life. And I feel this is something that we can all crave, whether we realize it or not. I hope that you have a beautiful and wonderful day, and God is with you. Have a nice one.